Ever wonder if that attractive older woman is into you? Well, I've got some insider tips on the telltale signs she's throwing your way. Stick around as we dive into the top 7 things an older woman does when she's feeling the spark. Let's get into it. 1. She uses flirty language. First up, pay attention to her choice of words. When an older woman is attracted to you, she might start peppering the conversation with flirty language. You know, those phrases that have a bit of a suggestive undertone. Maybe she'll comment on how strong or capable you look, or joke about how she could use a man like you around the house. She might even throw out a "hey handsome" or "looking good" when you least expect it. The key here is to listen for language that goes beyond friendly chit-chat. If she's making playful innuendos or finding ways to compliment your masculinity, chances are she's trying to send a signal that she's interested. Of course, everyone's communication style is different, so it's important to consider the context and your existing relationship. But if you notice a sudden uptick in flirty banter from an older woman, it's definitely worth paying attention to. So the next time you're chatting with a mature lady and she starts dropping those flirty verbal hints, take note. It could be her way of saying, "I'm picking up what you're putting down, handsome," and who knows where that could lead. 2. She creates private moments. Another major sign an older woman is into you. She starts engineering private moments for the two of you. If she's constantly trying to get you alone and away from the crowd, it's a pretty clear indication that she wants your undivided attention. Maybe she suggests stepping out for some fresh air during a group hangout, or finds a reason to pull you aside for a one-on-one chat. She might even orchestrate situations where you have to work together on a task, giving you plenty of opportunities for intimate conversation. The thing about older women is that they tend to be more confident and direct in their pursuit of what they want. So if she's making a concerted effort to create private time with you, it's likely because she's interested in exploring a connection. Of course, it's important to make sure you're reading the situation correctly. If she's a colleague who wants to discuss work matters privately, that's one thing. But if the vibe feels flirty and she's finding excuses to be alone with you, it's definitely a sign to pay attention to. So if you find yourself suddenly getting a lot of one-on-one time with an attractive older woman, don't be too surprised. Chances are she's trying to create a space where the two of you can connect on a deeper level, and who knows where those private moments might lead. 3. Frequent eye darting to your lips. Here's a more subtle sign to watch for: frequent glances at your lips during conversation. When we're attracted to someone, our eyes naturally tend to wander to their mouth, almost as if we're imagining what it would be like to kiss them. And older women are no exception to this phenomenon. So the next time you're deep in conversation with an attractive older woman, pay attention to her eye movements. Does her gaze keep darting down to your lips, even if just for a split second? That's a pretty strong indication that she's feeling some chemistry. Of course, it's important not to read too much into a single glance, but if you notice a consistent pattern of her eyes flicking down to your mouth, especially during lulls in the conversation or when you're saying something particularly engaging, it's definitely a sign that she's intrigued. The key here is to look for frequency and consistency. A one-off glance could be chalked up to coincidence, but if you're noticing her gaze lingering on your lips on multiple occasions, it's probably not just a fluke. So keep an eye out for those telltale lip glances. They might just be the subtle signal you need to confirm that an older woman is definitely feeling the spark. 4. Subtle biting or licking lips. Building on the last point, another lip-related sign to watch for is subtle biting or licking. You know those little gestures people make with their mouth when they're feeling flirty or nervous? Well, older women are just as prone to them as anyone else. Maybe you're telling a story and she gently bites her lower lip as she listens intently. Or perhaps she runs her tongue quickly over her lips during a lull in the conversation. These small actions might seem insignificant, but they can actually be a big indicator of attraction. Of course, it's important to consider the context. Some people have a habit of biting or licking their lips as a nervous tic or a way to soothe chapped skin. But if you're noticing these gestures happening frequently and in conjunction with other signs of interest, it's definitely worth noting. The key here is to pay attention to the subtleties. A quick bite or lick might be easy to miss if you're not looking for it, but if you start to notice a pattern, it could be a clear sign that she's feeling the chemistry. So the next time you're chatting with an alluring older woman, keep an eye out for those subtle lip moves. They just might be the green light you're looking for. 5. She openly flirts with you. Okay, this one might seem obvious, but it's worth stating. If an older woman is openly flirting with you, it's a surefire sign she's interested. While some women might be more subtle in their approach, others are all about making their intentions crystal clear. Maybe she's constantly cracking jokes and finding ways to make you laugh, or perhaps she's showering you with compliments and finding excuses to touch your arm or shoulder. Whatever her style, if she's laying the flirtation on thick, it's a pretty undeniable indication that she's into you. The great thing about overt flirting is that it takes a lot of the guesswork out of the equation. You don't have to spend hours analyzing her every move or trying to decipher hidden meanings. If she's putting herself out there and making it plain as day that she's interested, you can feel pretty confident in reciprocating. Of course, it's still important to make sure you're reading the situation correctly. Some people are just naturally flirtatious and might not mean anything serious by it. But if the flirtation feels targeted and persistent, it's probably a sign that she's hoping for something more. 6. She makes playful teases. Another classic flirting technique that older women often employ: playful teasing. If she's constantly poking fun at you in a good-natured way, it could be her way of showing that she's comfortable with you and interested in building a rapport. Maybe she ribs you about your taste in music or your questionable fashion choices, but always with a glint in her eye and a smile on her face. Or perhaps she's always finding ways to one-up you in conversation, turning every exchange into a playful back and forth. The key here is to pay attention to the tone and the context. Is she teasing you in a way that feels friendly and flirtatious, or does it veer into mean-spirited territory? If it's the former, it's likely a sign that she's trying to create a fun, lighthearted dynamic between the two of you. Teasing can also be a way for an older woman to gauge your confidence and sense of humor. Can you take a joke and dish it back out? Or do you get easily flustered and defensive? If you're able to engage in witty banter and show that you're not taking yourself too seriously, it can be a major turn-on. Of course, it's important to make sure you're not crossing any lines or taking the teasing too far. If she seems uncomfortable or unamused by your jokes, it's time to dial it back and recalibrate. But if you find yourself in a playful battle of wits with an attractive older woman, take it as a promising sign. She's likely trying to create a fun, flirtatious vibe and see if you're game to play along. 7. She finds reasons to touch you. One of the most telling signs that an older woman is interested in you: she finds reasons to touch you. We're not talking about anything overtly sexual or inappropriate here. Just those little moments of physical contact that seem to happen naturally but are actually carefully orchestrated. Maybe she brushes against your arm as she's reaching for something, or puts a hand on your shoulder as she's making a point. Perhaps she offers to fix your collar or straighten your tie, using it as an excuse to get up close and personal. These seemingly incidental touches can be a powerful way for an older woman to establish a physical connection and gauge your reaction. Are you receptive to her touch, leaning into it and reciprocating with your own gentle gestures? Or do you stiffen up and pull away, indicating that you're not comfortable with that level of intimacy? The key here is to pay attention to the frequency and the context of the touches. If she's consistently finding reasons to make physical contact with you, especially in moments when it's not entirely necessary, it's a pretty clear sign that she's interested in more than just friendship. Of course, it's important to make sure you're not misreading the situation or making her uncomfortable with unwanted touches of your own. Always err on the side of caution and respect her boundaries, even if you're getting clear signals that she's into you. But if you find yourself on the receiving end of an older woman's gentle, flirtatious touches, take it as a positive sign. She's likely trying to create a physical connection and see if you're on the same page. And there you have it, the signs that an older woman is attracted to you. So what's next for you? Learn the places older women want to be touched, or learn the biggest turnoffs for older women. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more.